today's video, we're going to be working on these integrated fuel pumps with the bottom bowl carburetors. So I'm going to completely disassemble them. And the first step is to take apart the fuel pumps right here, which operates off the crankcase pressure, which I'm still trying to figure out. And I got these repair kits from Quicksilver. Here's the part number, and they match. One of the bags is open, so it was leaking some parts, but that's what we're going to do. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is separate the fuel pumps here. As you can see, I already got one disconnected here, so I'm going to disconnect this one here. Alright, so as you can see, this one has a screen in it, which is completely clear. There was a fuel pump that was pre-carburetor. This one had no filter on. So now the next step is to disconnect this and pull all the diaphragms off. Alright, so to pull the diaphragms off, you just have to loosen the 4 screws here, here, and here. Okay, and then this should just pop off on a good day. And that exposes where the fuel intake goes into. Okay, so all those gaskets are definitely going to be replaced. So, okay, so just a quick look. Alright, so see that right there. Okay, so that goes there. All the gaskets have been removed, so that goes there. And then that goes on top of that. So we have to duplicate that on this carburetor as well. So I'm probably going to take some light sandpaper and just make sure these gaskets seat properly. Alright, so we got those up there. Let's put this here. Okay. That's there, the diaphragm is there. We have to pull that off, and that's trash. Yep. Let's see if this one comes off easily. Ooh. Alright, so the next step is to disconnect this very carefully, because you definitely do not want to break this piece. Link all this back together just to get the engine to run properly, but you don't want to soak this in the chemicals. Okay, so I'm gonna take this apart here, and okay. Alright, so that's there. Alright, so the next step is to undo the bowls right here, which you can see the gaskets are just really worn, they're leaking, everything else like that. And there's a size 11. So alright, so the bottom bowl should pop off. Okay, and that exposes the float, which is pretty clean. Okay, and there's the main jet right there. So we can do this one at a time so we don't mix this up. Now we need to separate the float. So now I'm just pulling out the pin here to separate the float. And by pulling it out, I mean, yep. Okay, so that's all that I'm using is the gunk part cleaner. This does a great job. So I'm going to soak everything in this just to make sure it's perfectly clean. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take out the this jet here and the idle needle first before I soak it in this. And Dr. LK is performing the operation here.
Okay, that's pretty loose.
Is it
oh,
out?
That can't come out.
No, you have to unscrew it just a little bit more.
That scared me. Random sound scares me. Okay.
So we got all this, and we're gonna dip it into this here for at least 20 to 24 hours right here. Okay?
20 to 24 hours.
Yeah, because it did not look that bad when I disassembled it. The float, the float is not corroded, so we're gonna put it all back together after that. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, you can stop it. Okay, so I pulled everything out of the dip. Everything looks clean. I redid all the hosing on the fuel filter and fuel pump, and I have all the necessary gadgets right here. So we're going to reinstall this onto here. Alright, so I got the new seal in place with the needle. In place. And the float. Alright, so the float should be about 0.4 millimeters from the gasket. Right now about 0.5, so I'm going to bend the tang just a little bit. Okay, so 0.4. Alright, so that's perfect. Alright, so now I got the bottom float set. And that should be about 0.4 from the main jet, which is right there. So that's perfect. So what we're going to do is duplicate this on the second carburetor. Alright, so we're going to put the idle screw in. And the jet goes in here. Okay, so the gasket layout, this film, the beige gasket goes on first, then you have two gaskets. The rubber gasket goes on the bottom, okay, and they have holes, punch holes on them that make it almost idiot proof. Okay, put that on just like that. Okay, and this piece goes over it. Again, everything should fit with the keyholes. Then you have this, okay, this is what pumps the fuel. Again, the gasket over it, and again it is keyholed, 1, 2, 3. And then the final is just the screen, and then the sealant, the cork sealant or rubber sealant, whichever comes with your gasket, to seal out the air. Freshly rebuilt. Okay, and we're back, and we got the fresh carbs installed there. As you can see, top and bottom, pretty spotless. This one is dripping fuel. You can see it's still dripping a little fuel. Check the gaskets. Everything's in place. Rerouted the fuel line, so there's not a bunch of fuel line in it. It's all brand new fuel lines, all new hose clamps, brass T fitting, fresh gas, fresh battery. So yeah, we're gonna make a talk. And the water is on. Let's see what happens.